The following program is intended for mature audiences.
Football fans, the time is now.
Give me a hell yeah!
For the football show you never knew you wanted. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Broken Helmet.
And coming to you live on tape on this Wednesday, September 10th, 2025. It is the best show you've never heard of. It's the Broken Helmet. Rich Eggy here behind the wheel. Chris at the other end of the broadcast. And to get in touch with the show, you can reach us at Broken Helmet Show at Gmail. I should know the email of the own show. It's brokenhelmetshow at gmail.com, or you can find us at Broken Helmet Pod on X and YouTube. So we are now 1 week into the season, and at least from your team's perspective, Chris, things worked out pretty well. Congratulations. Not so great.
I mean, I don't know about how well it worked out for us. I'm looking at the whole season in the long drawn out picture here, and it's kind of just screwing us for draft position by winning games like that. But sure, I mean, are the Raiders a playoff team? No. Are they a competitive team against other shitty teams? Sure.
Yeah, okay. Fair.
New England is
week one.
Nothing.
Remember, it's week one.
Yeah.
Give yourself some credit. Have some optimism. Enjoy it.
You know what? I'll have optimism.
You won on the road, right? What more do you want?
I'll have optimism if it's week 4 and we are 3-1. That's when I'll have optimism. You know.
Spoken like a true beaten down NFL fan.
That's what I mean.
Completely.
It's just, you get beat down for 30 years, and it's like, okay. Well,
yep.
Let's look. The year starts, and you're like, come on, good draft position. Like, let's do it.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
We need the number 1 quarterback. But then when you have the quarterback, then you're like, yeah, we don't want to be in this spot anymore. We already waited to get a quarterback. We're set. You
get Jamarcus Russell, and you're like,
oh God.
Man.
Disaster. Hey, look, it could be worse. You could be the Giants. Actually, over and over again. Beginning of every year. It's just nuts. I would rather
really
be you.
Bad.
I'd rather be you.
They're really bad.
Yeah. Well, there are a lot of fans across the NFL spectrum that feel the way I do, and there's probably a lot that feel the way that you do, which is just demoralized, even when you get a win, like you. But, you just seen it too many times. You've seen it too many times to know that even one win at the beginning of a season is enough to suck the life out of you. And it's a win.
We
feel better.
Won. We
Think
won.
half full. Think glass half full.
Like Brock Bowers, our best player, didn't even play the fourth quarter, I think.
Knee injury.
Yeah. And the guy we spent a first-round pick on out of Boise State, who's really good, ran the ball for like 38 yards on 15 carries or something.
It sounds spectacular. Spectacular. Well, so outside of your team, so I'm a Giants fan. My brother is a Raiders fan, if you haven't figured that out by now, or heard the show before, because we've talked about it ad nauseum, more so than we should. How did your fantasy team do after 1 week?
I went 1-5.
Oh. I can just keep playing this all show long. What was your best pick so far out of everything that you did?
Players?
Yeah. Looking in hindsight, where, I mean, it's 1 week. It's just like the NFL season. It's preseason through 4 weeks. You don't know how your fantasy team's going to, but just that initial gut reaction out of week 1, what was your best pick?
In my league that I run, Lamar Jackson in the 5th round. That was the only pick that worked out.
Oh, yeah. 5th round. He slid all the way. Which league was that? Was that
Lost in the Fog?
He went that long. I don't remember. But Lost in the Fog is a lead that both my brother and I are part
and I
of.
didn't even
He's
want
the
him. I didn't even want him.
Yeah,
I
but in
was like,
fifth
no.
in 5th round, the value there is just ridiculous, and that worked out.
Oh, he's just he's screwed me I never get the boom years. I always get his bust years.
Well, I had never touched him since, was it his 2nd year? Remember in your league that I drafted him, I think, 1st round.
No, me and you took him in, I think, in one of the Fantasy Football Today Open leagues, and he was trash that year.
How many years did we do FFT up until this year? Because we got closed
2.
out because it got so popular. Right?
That was obnoxious.
It was the year that we were in Richards, when we were in Richards fundraiser?
Yes.
Because last year we did Azer.
Yes, and I don't even know what happened this year. I don't even know how it gets sold out in 3 seconds. That's the most absurd thing.
The show is really big. I mean, it was always big, but now it's along with a lot of fantasy. I mean, fantasy content has just skyrocketed over the past 3-4 years.
Yeah,
I had wrote to Azer because I was asking about fantasy footballers, who I don't follow, but I know of them because how can you not? I mean, if you do anything and if you do any kind of prep, or if you try to grab anything prior to your fantasy football draft, fantasy football just pops up, right? They just do.
Yes.
And I thought for sure they were kind of first to market. And he corrected me, and he told me that they actually came after they did. And so there was like the little engine that could. All of a sudden, these guys put this together, cool studio, all the rest of it, and like took off. And I did not. I mean, Azer gave me the impression that they were in a different stratosphere than fantasy football today, which I was shocked at, if that is indeed true. And it's no knock for anybody creating content. Knock yourselves out. I hope everybody has success. But I like fantasy football today infinitely better. I don't know if you've ever seen fantasy footballers.
I don't think I know who are they.
Oh, you got to look it up. If you haven't seen it, it's not worth talking. They're a uber popular fantasy football program. Content creators, the whole nine. They do it with video, but they have a studio. They kind of have it designed like, I mean, any broadcast show, but like the Lebitard show where they have, a bunch of guys sitting behind the desks doing all the video and the audio, and then the hosts. I think there's 3 of them. Maybe there's 4 of them. I don't remember offhand. But they're sitting in this cool, made-up studio, and they're just, shooting the shit about fantasy football, NFL, whatever it is. But a tremendous following. Tremendous following. But anyway, all right, so your number 1 pick was round 5, Lamar Jackson. Pretty solid. I have a 14-team league that I was a part of, and I had pick number 14. And I'm just going to rip down this list. And looking in hindsight, and I talked about this in the show, but I was Rodgers Light, I put him in there now, but Derrick Henry, Jalen Warren, Brian Thomas Jr., Mike Evans, DK Metcalf. In a 14-team league. That was pretty solid. How'd you turn yourself sideways, by the way?
Oh, I think I just flicked my hand and I went sideways.
Okay. Can you flip yourself back? Because it's visually disturbing, if not to the 2 listeners, at least to me.
I was kidding. It just did it.
Oh my Lord. Seriously?
I didn't touch anything. I don't even know how you do that. How does one do this?
I don't know either, but I'm not sure that we can continue the show like this.
I could try and stand.
Can you do some funky Jamiroquai shit and make yourself look like you're going in different directions, right? When they move the room around. Oh yeah, you could fall. Can you pull yourself up the screen like you're pulling yourself up a fake imaginary rope? Okay. All right. Well, we're gonna see if we can't fix this disaster, and then we'll be back.
I don't even know how you get straight. You got to be like,
And we're back. All right. So now that we fixed the camera stuff, we were in the doldrums of talking about fantasy football. But at this point, I just ran down a list, and I was more than happy about that. I don't know if there were really any shocks through round one with fantasy. There wasn't anything on the waiver wires that I really saw that I wanted to jump on. I don't know if you did. Some places I have good position, and it really wasn't worth it. I think it played out the way that you thought it would.
I used my highest ranking I had. I had so much Xavier Worthy. I had more stock in him than any other player in the NFL, and he got hurt on the third play of the game.
Oh yeah, I saw that you had Worthy, and then when he went out, that was how crazy was it that the two first games of the year, the biggest build games, you lose two key players right out of the gate. Carter with the spitting incident, and then Worthy with the injury. Friendly fire. I made the joke that Taylor Swift must have been playing him against him in fantasy football for Kelsey to just blast into him.
That's pretty funny. Yeah, I was just distraught. I texted Rocky like 5 minutes into that game, and I was like, I quit fantasy football for the year. Like when you lose the player you have more stock in than any other player in the NFL. What is there, 2,700 players in the NFL? You have more of that one guy than anybody else, and you lose him 3 minutes into
diversity,
the season.
Though, dude, right? Like if you're going to go, it's one of the things. I think I talked about it and we didn't do as many of the fantasy football shows as we could have or should have, but I know that on one that I did, I talked about, you got to kind of figure out, are you going to diversify your portfolio if you have a ton of fantasy teams? Or are you going to swing for the fences because you think you have the read? You're going to be able to capitalize on your read. You have the edge, and so you're going all in on it, right? And it kind of feels like you were married to Worthy.
100%. I was all about it, and you take one player like that and you're okay. But when you tie him to Patrick Mahomes in a bunch of leagues too, you shit out of luck.
Yeah, true. Just news and notables out of week one. Zay Flowers had a monster week. A believer, not a believer?
No, not at all.
Why?
He was good because I think the Bills' secondary is horrific.
Gotcha. Okay.
I think the Bills' defense is horrific.
I was cautiously optimistic in Zay Flowers. But at the same time, I was kind of rooting against that happening going forward because I didn't grab him anywhere because I wasn't a believer. I think I grabbed him in one league, and it might have been a best ball on DraftKings because he was just sitting there, and I needed a wide receiver.
I do have a lot of stock in the player on the opposite side of that team, on the opposite side of that game, Keon Coleman. I have a ton of him.
Oh, I was going to go to him next. Yes. Coleman, who got a lot of hype going into the fantasy drafts. I liked him last year, and I picked him up, and he didn't really do a ton, but he got hot a little bit. He had a monster first game, so he kind of fit the bill.
He had a monster fourth quarter of a first game. He did shit until the fourth quarter.
Well, as did the whole Bills team.
Yeah, I think he'll be good. We'll see how he does when he gets matched up against, really good cornerbacks and teams because Baltimore's defense is shit too.
Dude, what a pisser that game was. Because was there any, it blew up. We'll get to the wagers in a bit, but was there any doubt in your mind that Baltimore was winning that game? Like basically all throughout the game up until that last quarter?
No, I still can't believe it happened. I turned it off and turned it off the TV. I turned on video games and I put it on my iPad like down to my left where I could barely see it, and just like briefly looked over every like 15 minutes. And I looked and I was like, wow, they got it to 8 points. So that's good.
Yeah.
But there was like 2 minutes left and Baltimore had the ball. And I just happened to look, and it was like a replay of Henry getting the ball knocked out. And I was like, no way.
Could not believe
No way. Right?
like,
I don't even know. I can't even imagine what down under 4 minutes, down 15 points. What were the I don't even know if books offered it, but what were the live money line odds for Buffalo at that moment?
At the lowest of lows, that'd be fun to know. I wasn't tracking it, so I don't know. But there's always some degenerate. There's a lot of us out there that popped that when they were down fourth quarter, crazy odds that were just like, I'll take it.
For sure.
Did you see what was one of the crazier bets I saw on social media? It was some guy, I think it was maybe it was like the Action Network reposted it, but whoever it was, he bet 3 quarterback anytime touchdown, and it was, I forget who the first two. I forget the first two, but his last one was J.J. McCarthy on Monday night.
No way.
Yeah, and I think the bet was $150 for 10,000. I think it was. And sure enough, boom, he hit it, and they had his live reaction, and it was like, yeah, no baby, way. I'll take that. Yeah. That was one of the crazier things I saw on social. And I don't remember. Damn it, I don't remember who the other quarterbacks were. Maybe one was Justin Fields. I think one was Justin Fields.
Dude, he must have bet so much, because I did a four player prop parlay with all quarterbacks, and I did the same thing with 4, and it was only 5 to win $200.
No, I saw the video, and it was I'm almost positive it was $150 for 10 grand. I'm not going to go and search for it now and burn time, but I just saw it walking the dog, and I was like, wow. I was like, good for you. I was, but
I did. Good for him, but I did.
The McCarthy thing was plus 550, I think.
It must,
because remember, the quarterbacks have to run, right? They can't pass; they got to run. So it was plus 550, and I think the other ones were plus 2 something, plus 250, plus 250, plus 500. You can do the parlay math, but put it up in the stratosphere.
Drake May was the one that got me. I did Fields. I did frig. Who was the other quarterback? It was regardless. I did 3 of them hit, and the 4th was May, and he didn't hit. I couldn't believe he didn't hit. But it was only 40-1, something like that.
Not sure. Don't know.
Wow.
But yeah,
good
I don't
for
know.
that guy.
Yeah, no, nice. And I'm sure there's stories about that all over the place. But without further ado, we're going to talk about gambling anyway. So, and I was going to talk about the Baltimore, but I'll probably hit it here with a recap. So, without further ado, let's get into the show. We'll fire it up here with our little recap of the week.
First down.
And so what we usually do here is we'll recap the events gambling-wise from the past week. So we'll end up going with the general stats to begin with. And the favorites were the winners this week, as they had a 9-7 lead over the Dogs. The Dogs pulled 2 of those 7 out for outright wins. And then as for over and unders, this was all unders. We don't take point totals that much, but man, I was going down and I was like, wow, the unders hit everything this week. It was ridiculous. So they ended up winning 12-4. If you want to tease those, I mean, it was a monster day for favorites and for unders, because as you can see, it was hard pressed to find a loser when you're teasing those two. Ultimately, I created a tease. I mentioned it when I did the gambling segment, but I took alt spreads instead, and the alt spreads lost, but the tease won. So go figure. It's how it always happens. Anyway, other stats that we look at: home dogs were 3-4. Big road favorites were 1-1. Cincinnati was the loser there. Halftime leads were 13-3. Do you want to take a stab at any of the three teams? I'll name one of the three teams that lost their halftime lead.
Baltimore.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. I don't have my dings out here, but Baltimore was one of them. The other two were Houston and Chicago. So both the Sunday night and the Monday night game saw the teams lose their halftime lead. The other one was Houston, who was just putting up field goals, and then Rams came from behind. So trifectas were 0-5. Philly, Miami, Atlanta, Denver, Baltimore all ended up having the sharps, the tickets, and the money line in their favor, and they all ended up losing. Pros versus Joes, there was one game there that ended up going to the pros. And then if you want to end up looking at us personally, it could have been better. It could have been better. As the 272 is every game picked. We do that every week. I was 6-10. You were 6-10. I felt awful about that until I ended up getting and looking at how the rest of the betting population did, and then I didn't feel that bad. But I was 4-4 betting on favorites, 4-4 picking favorites, 2-6 picking dogs. You ended up being 5-5 and 1-5, so we both struggled with the dogs this week. Our super picks, I was miserable. I was 1-4. I didn't have a 1-4 week all last year. I did to start off the season, and I thought last year I was bad at week 1, but it was actually week 2 that I just kerplunked. You were 2-3. Kerplunked. Yeah. I'm trying to set up the new video version of the show the same as I had the audio version, because I have 2 soundboards here that I used to use, and now I only have one. And the way that I screwed it up, so I don't have any of my sound bites. I would have liked to have put something in there other than kerplunked, but that was the word I used. So anyway, but best bets, I was 0-1. I went with Pittsburgh. They did not cover. You went with Arizona, and they were good. So like I said, comparing us to the rest of the betting population, sharps, tickets, and the money pool were all not good. You know, the sharps were almost 500. And then the tickets were 2-14. The money pool was 4-12. I mean, it's just not good around the board. So last year they didn't have a good year. I was 54% picking all the games. You were 56%. Sharps were 51%. Tickets, the public, as well documented, last year was the year of the square. They were 53%, and the money was about 50%. But as you can see, everybody was under 50% this week. So, and then finally, how do we do with our wagers? And this was another, not unmitigated disaster, but not the start that I wanted. You did all right. You ended up cashing with your Arizona bet. Where's the bets here? You had Arizona, and that ended up cashing. Your other parlays, there were multiple legs that didn't come through. So for me, I really put my bets behind my super contests and talking about diversifying your portfolios. I did not with this, and it came back to bite me in the ass. But the only part to me that I was happy about was, if one of these 4 teams won, I came in with a little bit of cash, specifically Baltimore. That's why the Baltimore game was a killer to me, because had that Baltimore game went Baltimore's way, minus that fourth quarter, which was crazy, that would have pulled me in 371. Woulda, coulda, shoulda. But New England independently, that cost me. Pittsburgh independently cost me. And KC cost me in 2 spots, too. So I had them all independently. I just needed one of any one of those 4 to come in. It just wasn't my week, right? So, but again, we're not, this is not unfamiliar territory. So we're looking to bounce back in a week, too. So were you upset with any of your bets?
I was just pissed. I was just pissed that I had 2 awesome parlays that just blew up. I can't believe that those 2 individual games. It sucks when you hit 3 out of 4.
Yeah, for sure. Which one were you most upset about? Detroit?
No, I was more pissed about Miami because I don't know what happened to them.
Oh,
I
I mean,
I thought they were going to go into Indianapolis and destroy that team, and they looked like a JV squad.
they look terrible right out of the gate. And the only reason that happened was because there is a population of NFL fans that exist that are called New York Giant fans. And they just were meant to watch Daniel Jones have a good game in his first game on not a new team. He went somewhere else, but this was the first official like off season that he got to spend with the team, got signed, and then all of a sudden he blew up. Miami's got problems. I did not like them, and I think I picked their under. They were one of the teams. I had it written out somewhere, but I don't have it here. And I talked about it on their show, but I really like their unders because I just didn't know they were going to be this terrible right out of the gate. I mean, that was that was a bad game. I mean, if there was, are, are they the worst team coming out of week one? At least overall impression, the fan base feel. They've got to be, right?
Uh, I don't think so. I think New Orleans is probably the worst.
But
Out.
expectations are kind of low though, because if you think about it, right, they don't have a quarterback, right? Like Carr bailed so late, so
I
late.
forgot about that. He bailed
Yeah,
this year.
yeah, and he bailed so late. They had no opportunity. So there's a difference. I think Miami still has a little bit of hope. Had
I
a little bit
totally
of hope.
forgot about that.
And right out of week one, I don't know if there's another team here that feels worse about themselves. I know from listening to sports radio and Giant fans. I actually joined a Spaces today of Giant fans that I came across just the other day because I just got sick and tired of listening to radio and podcasts. I kind of crunched out, so I just went exploring. I found this Spaces group, and it was all Giants fan, and it was a blast to listen to. And it made me happy that I was okay. I'm not crazy. I'm not the only one that feels this way. Not that you need to hear other that many more Giant fans to understand that that's the way. But Giant fans felt pretty awful, but I still don't think that Giant fans felt as bad as Dolphin fans. They looked outright terrible. I think in the second quarter I looked and Tua had 14 yards. 14.
Dude, I just don't even. I know their number one wide receiver is kind of old, but the rest of the team just was. They're horrific.
Yeah, it's just not good. I think it's the Mike McDaniel thing, right? Like,
Oh, Jesus, we know. You hate Mike McDaniel. You think
well,
he's trash. You talk
yeah,
about it every
okay,
week.
all right. Just throttle down. I'm just saying, trying to make it thematic that the NFL is experiencing this everywhere and has for several years, and that is whether or not it's just too tough to do. The fact is that not many coordinators make great coaches, and I know there's a fascination with coordinators, and you got to get these coaches from somewhere, and it goes to make sense, but there are just coordinators that are not good head coaches, period. And even if there's like a flash in the pan, you can't be like, oh yeah, that's the guy. See, that's the guy. Mike McDaniel, year one, his offense looking great. If it keeps up, oh no, it's Tua got his head wrung, and now it's his health that's in question. It's kind of like Brandon Staley, right? Chargers, same deal. You flip from Staley to Harbaugh, and look at the results. It's a Giants issue right now. Who knows if Dable was even a good coordinator? Josh Allen makes everybody look good. So,
I think Dable's fine, man. I don't think Dable's the problem. They don't have talent, dude. Everyone blames the coaches.
they're Giants specifically. Coaching is the issue. Like it just is. And it goes to Shane too, because that roster is not great. And if you go to their drafts and you look at their drafts, I mean, they had one good out of three. Roster churn is terrible, right? And when you're just churning roster, you never get any production out of the back end. And you don't see good results. And if you look at all the successful teams and you go through their hit, you're like, oh man, that guy was drafted 6 years ago, 5 years ago. They're still there, you know? And when you see teams that are terrible and you go through their drafts, you always see the same thing. And that is whiff, 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 whiff. And they just happen to be one. And that goes to, at least with the Giants specifically, I feel like DeShane, maybe some of it is still Gettleman, but that was a little while ago now. They should have been able to redo the team. But, you know, I mean, if you watch the Giant game, I don't know if you did or not, their problems stem a lot from coaching. You know, I mean, there's some roster things, but coaching is, I mean, they looked horrific. And I'm sure, Dolphins, I think, are the same way. You know, you can't walk into Indianapolis and let Daniel Jones blow your doors off. Come on. What'd you do all offseason? You know, it's Daniel Jones. But we digress. So, anyway, that was the recap of last week. Second down, we'll go into the big games. We'll just talk about two, then we'll pick all the rest of the games and get into our bets. So, without further ado.
Second down.
And I guess, I mean, look, I think there's two big games. You happy talking about two big games? First one starting tomorrow night?
Sure.
Okay. So let's head out here. And again, I'm trying to get used to hitting all these buttons where they are now. But we will head out to Green Bay, where the Packers are enthralled with their performance, as are the fans are. They should be. They lock up Parsons for Fort Knox and out. You know, he gets a sack in week 1, and they're 1-0 against the Lions. Tough division. They lock up that home win, which is good because the NFC North is going to beat themselves up all year long. So they get that first win. Now they turn around. They've got a short week here. They're going to be home versus the Commanders. Currently, Packers are a 3.5-point favorite. The over-under is 48.5 points. Right now, the Sharps have not taken a lean, but both the tickets and the money pool are on the Commanders, but just slightly, 55% of the tickets and 51% of the money pool in on Washington. Now, because I watched the Giants a couple of times now, condensed version, I don't crunch all 22. I tried back in the day. It doesn't, I don't have the time. But the Commanders were not overly impressive to me. I mean, the Giants were actually in that game, and they had some semblance of offense. They might have been able to actually get a miraculous win and pull a horseshoe out of their ass, but it was not meant to be. The Packers, meanwhile, I thought looked fully in control in that game. And minus the Commanders, having an off week 1, which is entirely possible. We see corrections in week 2 all the time. I was kind of in favor of this line here with the Packers at 3.5. But, I mean, that could be square as fuck, too, right?
Mm-hmm. I just don't think the Redskins... Oh, shit. The Commanders stand
I do it all
the
the time. I do they're the Redskins, dude. Fuck. I mean, until my mind accepts it, they're the Redskins.
I don't know why. I'm
49 years old. I've called them the Redskins for too long.
I just like calling the Chargers San Diego. Like I still do that too.
I do it too.
I don't know. I think Washington going to Green Bay is going to be really tough. I think Green Bay coming off a huge win against who was arguably a Super Bowl favorite, and they just destroyed them. That's going to
not to digress too much, but were they though? There was a lot of questions to Detroit. I'm not a big fan of Detroit this year.
No,
let's say NFC contender.
No, I'm coming off like a season where they were the Super Bowl favorite.
Okay, all right, gotcha. Sorry,
you know what I'm saying. So inside of their own division, where somebody needs to take the crown from them, obviously, and Green Bay just has Detroit's number. It has Goff's number. So, you can read into it multiple ways, but Washington, Jaden Daniels coming into a really hostile environment, regardless, I mean, you're starting a rookie 5th-round running back or whatever, 7th-round running back. Like,
Yeah,
that
looks all right
dude,
though. Got a touchdown.
he was fine against a shit-ass team. I mean, so they need a lot. They're going to have to do a lot to overcome that adversity. And if they want to prove that they are somebody in this league, this is going to be a perfect time to do it.
I
Right?
will
Like
say, great. Yeah. I mean, if this would be a nice test. If they lose, not a big deal though, right? On the
no,
road
if they lose,
against
they're
Green
expected to
Bay.
lose.
Yeah. But I agree, it would be a nice win. I will say that kudos to the Commanders for grabbing Deebo Samuel because of an offense that I thought looked kind of mediocre. I thought the utilization of Samuel, especially considering that the offense is only going to get better after the quote unquote preseason of the NFL starts right here, is going to be a huge advantage to them because
that dude's not. He doesn't stay healthy.
Okay. Can we just imagine that he stays healthy? Right?
I'm sure. In a world
let's talk about him being healthy,
where nobody gets hurt. Sure, yeah, that team will be great.
Like, I mean,
he's a great
big addition.
He's a great addition. Sure,
yeah. But question marks on defense. If there's anything that gives me hesitancy to taking the 3.5, I hate it being over 3. Especially with the wide receiver room being just more or less in shambles. Like, I like Love, and I had hopes for Golden, and Jaden Reed, they played him. He's got the foot thing. You kind of don't know how real healthy he is. They still got Wicks there, and, Kraft, obviously.
They have
Watson
one star.
They re-signed Watson.
They have Josh Jacobs. Like, that's all they have.
You're right, yeah. Josh Jacobs, point specifically is Josh Jacobs is really the only linchpin they have in terms of you kind of know what you're going to get week in and week out.
Yep. Outside of that, it's going to be Dobbs, who reminds me so much of.
I forgot Dobbs is in there too.
What's the famous Green Bay receiver who just always got touchdowns? I mean, he was just always
Sterling
there.
Sharp, Javon Walker.
No. Those guys
Devontae
were stars.
Adams.
No, those were stars. Like the Mr. Reliable Donald Driver. He's
Donald Driver. Yeah, well, he was kind of a star too. Lived out of a car, right? I think one of the stories about him was that him and his family lived. Yeah, him and his family. I think when they were kids or something. And I could be. I just remember back in the day when I used to watch ESPN all the time. They did a whole feature on Donald Driver. I believe living out of like a U-Haul truck or something. I just remember watching it because you're like, wow, this is before the internet, so you never knew these stories. And then when you heard them, it made for watching ESPN all the better because you got information you didn't get before. But so continue on. Donald Driver, right? Who was the guy that went with
sneaky little knock on ESPN there, but we'll move on.
Fuck ESPN. I mean, seriously.
I know. Well, obviously.
Enough. I did try to watch the preview show, whatever. What is their preview show now? Is it not Game Day? Is it Game Day? What is the ESPN?
What?
For ESPN? NFL Sunday?
Oh, I don't watch like pregame. I watch fantasy football now or whatever it is.
Yeah, I know. That was the one. Well, I was sitting with my father-in-law, and I knew that he didn't want to hear about all the fantasy stuff, so I was trying to find one of the. If you're watching this on video and not audio, it looks as though that's somebody in my brother's office, or maybe the set motion detectors turned the lights off. So
yeah.
That was something else. So again, the video aspect of this puts a new wrinkle into.
It's not meant for that. People don't care about the way I look. They care more about the information we provide.
Kind of, not really. So anyway, but I didn't go to the fantasy because I didn't want to bore him to tears. So I was trying to bounce around, and literally I could not find anything. I went to the CBS pregame. I went to the CBS Sports pregame. I went to ESPN. I went to NFL. I rewatched the Barstool one that I guess they don't do live anymore, but they had Gruden on it. And again, I think by the time it comes to NFL Sunday, you're just waiting for injury updates, and that's about it, right? So,
Yeah.
but Packers here, the wide receiver room is the only thing that I'm kind of hesitant about, and the fact that look, Daniels had a great last year. He didn't look super good in week 1, but maybe can put it together and can fix some of the mistakes from week 1 to put forth a better performance. But still, I like the Packers defense. I don't like the Commanders defense. I like the Packers at home, short week, where I still have some questions based on what I saw in week 1 with the Commanders, at least this early in the season.
Yeah, I'm with you. I absolutely love the Packers here. I don't love the 3.5 like you mentioned. However, in my bets, lowered it like a point, I think, or half a point, something like that. And I'm just trying to make it more reasonable from a betting perspective. Just who knows? Maybe Washington plays really well and they keep it again. I don't think it's going to be a game. I think it's going to be a double-digit game. But that you can't bet that way though.
Yeah, I don't know because I have not tracked it historically, so it's a reference that I don't have much data for. But looking at the alt lines the past couple of weeks, does it feel like the books are just really cheaping you out? Now, granted, there's big shifts around key numbers, right? Like the -3.5 to -2.5, the -7.5 to -6.5, right? And then there's not that much between 4.5 and 5.5, obviously, because of the math of it. But I don't know. There's something about the past 2 weeks when I was putting some of these things together that I'm like, man, are they really discounting more than they should some of these alt spreads because they destroy teasers?
Yeah, I don't even know anybody who uses teasers anymore. Like there's no point. The alt spreads I feel like are being manipulated in a. I'm sorry, not the alt spreads. The regular spreads are being manipulated in a way that they're trying to get you to almost play the alt lines. Like they don't. They're almost thinking about that ahead of time. Like I don't know.
Oh, see, I would have said that the way I get the feeling that they're trying to push you now to the teasers, right? Because the teaser payout is such shit. Where the alt kind of gave you various options, right? Because you got teasers you wouldn't get like the early cash outs, alt spreads you would. They gave you more flexibility with doing the alt spreads. And now I just feel like they're kind of pushing you like, oh, well, if you think you're going to, game the system and do, but again, I just don't know enough about it, the math side from the sportsbook angle. But, look, teasers last week, there was a couple teams that I looked at that I liked, the Cowboys, the Commanders, the Bengals, the Broncos, Falcons, and Ravens. Didn't do any of them, and they all hit. And then I felt like an asshole because it was like, look, you're wagering money here. You're trying to be profitable, and the tease is there to give you control of these games. And there was just whatever. What I named six.
How many outright underdogs won?
Outright underdogs. Oh, we did that early on.
I know.
Two. Oh, underdogs. 2 of the 7 dogs won outright. The Raiders and the Bills. That was it.
See, if you can see, that's where alt spreads, mathematically speaking, if you can find one of those 2 every week and mix them with mix them with your alt spread, you clear fucking. I mean, you absolutely clear out.
That's your elevator, right?
That is 100%. You cash. That's just money on top of money on top of money.
Right. Same thing with options trading when you pick, a strike price that's in the clouds, and then all of a sudden the stock bounces, and it's just odds. So, but look, just keep your eye out. I'll do the same. to just those alt spreads and how what those odds are and how they're impacted, because I question. I'm starting to question whether or not they're being manipulated negatively toward the patrons. But all right, so you are ultimately going to take the Commanders there. You're going to take the Commanders or the Packers? I'm sorry.
Oh, Packers,
You take
100%.
Packers. Yeah, okay. I am too. And so with that said, that was game one. Game two, I mean, look, if it wasn't for a Thursday night game, we would have led off with this. It's the Super Bowl. It's a Super Bowl repeat. We're going to fly over to Kansas City, where the Chiefs are hosting the Eagles. This one was in favor of Kansas City by 1.5, has flipped. It is now Eagles by 1.5. It is a pros versus Joe's game. The Sharps are on the Eagles. 95. Now, granted, it's a 4 o'clock game, but 95% of the money pool as of right now, according to the Action Network app. And I should have said these lines are all via FanDuel, if you're wondering where I'm pulling them from. But 95% of the money pool is in on the Eagles. And then 74% of the tickets are on the Chiefs. So, Chiefs did not look good last week. I thought Mahomes looked bad. I didn't think the defense looked good out of the gate, again, week one. Philadelphia, I don't know what was going on with the passing strategy. I thought they looked fine on the ground. Their secondary, which everybody had question marks going into the first week, did nothing to squash those doubts. So there's kind of negatives on both sides. So when you look at it, though, right, me personally, I kind of like the Eagles side, but there's a caveat. So what say you? And then I'll tell you what I'm thinking.
I just don't agree that I didn't think that the Chiefs looked bad. I think they
Really?
No, I just think they got outplayed and outcoached for the first. Listen, I think that Los Angeles probably Harbaugh, they probably spent the entire offseason like planning that game. 100%.
Yeah, I mean, like everybody, right? Yeah, you have more time than any other game to plan for.
Right. And they thoroughly outplayed the Chiefs. The Chiefs lost their number one dynamic threat.
Okay.
Four
Agreed.
plays into the game.
Agreed. I think I might have said that, but I agree with you there. That could have had big downstream effects because you don't know how much they were going to use Worthy in game one.
I mean, yeah, he was their number one receiver. Fantasy speaking, he averaged over 20 points a game the last 12 or 8 to 12 games of the season last year. So, I mean, ultimately, Kelsey's another year older. Hollywood Brown's another year older. Juju Smith-Schuster's another year older. Pacheco's coming off surgery. Kareem Hunt's another year older. Mahomes is fine. I thought Mahomes had some ridiculous plays. Maybe.
Oh, I thought he didn't look good in spots, but that's okay.
Maybe. You know what? They really only highlight. I didn't actually watch every play of the game from an analyst perspective, but the plays that they did highlight, I mean, he made some damn good throws.
I'm not saying he's junk. I didn't think he played that well, right?
I thought Los Angeles played. I thought Los Angeles played phenomenal. I thought they were phenomenal.
Yeah,
they could be one of the. If they play like that, they are not going to lose too many games this year.
You know what's funny is that going into week one, when I was doing the Chargers and the Chiefs win-loss totals for the season, I gave that game to the Chargers like 3 or 4 times as I was trying to do the win. And then when I went to bet, I bet the Chiefs.
It's very hard to bet against the Chiefs.
Yeah, still. But, you got to be committed one way or the other. What are you doing, trying to do win-loss totals, and you pick the Chargers in each spot, and then you turn around. And I think the Slater thing kind of pushed me off it. But it's got to be one or the other. You got to be more committal. You flip
They
flop.
didn't even look like
forget
they
it.
lost a
You're
step
gonna lose.
without Slater.
No, I mean, it looked good. Hampton at the end. I don't get too pissed off at him for not running out of bounds. It's a rookie. Shit happens, right?
He's a rookie. He's
Yeah.
got a long way to go.
But okay, here's another question that we didn't get to talk. So, what did you think about the Kelsey headbutting Taylor? Did you see that or no during the game? Kelsey went and smashed Taylor in the head after one of his offsides. And me, is not even a fan, just a fan of the NFL, I was super stoked because that guy Taylor has, number one, gotten away with murder for numerous years now because he jumps off.
You talking about the big dude who always
Juwan Taylor, the tackle?
He lines up a step back.
He jumps every snap. He jumps. Just watch him every game. Just watch him every game. He jumps every single snap. And on Friday night, the refs just decided.
That's been well reported, dude.
Yeah. No. I'm not saying it's not. I'm not breaking ground here. I'm some dude in his basement talking to his brother. I'm just saying that he does it all the time. And on Friday, for whatever reason, and this brings in the referees on the take, or the referees can command the game. They decided to blow the whistle on him and call it, as they should. And Kelsey gets pissed off at one point and just runs up to him and headbutts him. And
I've seen that.
Oh, yeah, I've seen players get pissed off at each other and scream match. But I mean, like, it was on the field. Like, he was heading back to the huddle. And I was like, wow.
I saw there was a player who smashed another player in the face this weekend. And I can't remember who it was, but they didn't throw him out.
Yes, it was. Oh, damn it!
It was a big dude. It was a massive dude on defense. He just straight swung right at another dude.
Yeah, was it the night game? No.
Was it Baltimore?
No. I know the one that you're talking about.
Hit him hard, dude.
Yeah.
Hard.
And I guess they went to Pierre. I think it was on a Fox game. So, and they went to Piera and asked, I think it was Pierre, whoever it was, whether Fox or CBS, they went to the referee broadcaster and asked them their opinion. And they basically said it wasn't a closed fist. It was like an open hand shove. Yes, it was on a helmet, but they kind of agreed with the penalty and not the kick. I mean, a punch is a punch, right? So you can't mistake a punch. That was like, who was Shadir Sanders' brother? I forgot his name already. But the Sanders
my God. Yeah.
That just went in the last
the Tampa Bay dude.
Game. Yeah, and punched him. I can't. How crazy is that? Shadir Sanders. What's his name, dude? You don't know it either, right?
Shiloh.
Shiloh Sanders. Was that what it was? Shiloh. I don't know. Sounds right. I should know it, and it's already. I've already pushed it out as I'm trying to register.
Why does that sound right though? I think it is Shiloh.
I just know Shador, who nobody talked about, after week one. But that was a closed fist. The other one that you're talking about was not. But we're a little far off track here. So, when it comes down to the Chiefs and the Eagles, I like the Eagles. The caveat I was talking about, and the reason that I'm a little hesitant is, like, the Chiefs get a lot of calls, and Mahomes gets a lot of calls, and they didn't get any of them on Friday night, and Taylor got called for every offsides. And I just wonder if this is one of those close games that the calls go to Kansas City, they go to the home team, he calls his own shots, and they end up winning. And I'll be honest, I ended up picking the Chiefs, only because of that. I think the Eagles are the better team. I think if this game is in Philadelphia, I think the Eagles win easy. Oh, my God, you flipped around again.
Fuck!
Well, let's finish this, then we'll take another break, but just pull yourself up to the ceiling, and then give me the...
I don't know!
It is Jamiroquai. For those of you that are too young, go look at a Jamiroquai video, and he moves all over the room or everything. Chris is flipping around. Oh, there you are. Now you're back to the way you should be, and now you're sideways, and now you're normal.
It's got to be the iPad just trying to read the room. I'm gonna go with Kansas City. just think they're back at home. That game was in Brazil. That probably added into the effects, but this is a really big game. I get it. I just don't think Philadelphia cares as much as Kansas City does, if that makes sense. It doesn't,
Yeah, I mean,
but
no, I got you.
it does. And like this is a really, really big game. They're going to, I mean, it's going to be a brutal stadium. If this was in Philadelphia, it would probably be like a -4.5, -5 spread.
Yeah, well, the home is 3 points if you want to believe in all that shit. So you add the 3 the other way, it's 2.5. But I think that they would amplify it to your point that it would be greater than 2.5. I think it would probably be 3.5, 4.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Kansas City. I have one of those gut feelings about this game. I just think they're going to really probably, this might be their best game of the year. Like they might just outplay their talent this year. And it's a shame that they don't have either of their top wide receivers. Like that sucks. They are a dynasty. That's why they get the calls. Same shit that we talked about when New England was a dynasty. They got all the calls. They had all their spy gates and shit. Like I just
sure.
think
multiple.
Multiple. I just think that's how it goes. It's the easiest thing to talk about because everybody has to figure out a way why they keep winning. I have faith in them until they prove otherwise. I think Kansas City is still one of the top 3 teams in the AFC, and they're going to be very tough to beat at home.
Yeah, I'm with you. So we both went with the Chiefs on that one. Those are the 2 big games. Now we'll rip down the rest of the docket.
Third down.
We kick it into third down. We'll start with the 1 o'clock games. First game, Dolphins hosting the Patriots. Dolphins favored by 1.5 here. Pros versus Joes. The pros are in on the Patriots. The Joes are in on the Dolphins. Dolphins, obviously a disaster. 1.5 here. I don't know what to do with this game. Oh, and Chris, are you gone? You dropped out. Now I'm putting you back in. I don't know what's going on with your video there, but we're having all kinds of issues, as you can see, as I'm doing in real time. I'm not even going to break. I'm literally just going to fix this as it is here, and then we're going to move along. So, can you hear me?
Yeah, yes. I can hear you. I never couldn't hear you. I don't know what just happened.
Yeah, I don't know. It logged out, logged back in. I had to add you back into the scene. But whatever. Dolphins, Patriots, I don't know what to do. I ended up picking the Dolphins because this is basically, I think, McDaniel's career. Not career, but I feel like this is going to be his job. You lose here at home to the Patriots, and you might as well just blow them out.
Division opponent. It's going to be tough either way, but yeah, I'm with you. I took the Dolphins. They cannot look as bad as they did last week.
One would think, but I have no faith in any of these. I had it in one of my super picks to begin with, and then I just thought about it. Like, you really want to go with a super pick with the Dolphins? They looked so terrible, and I couldn't do it. So the next game will be Bengals-Jaguars. This one in Cincinnati. Cincinnati and Jaguars both coming off the wins. Cincinnati looked terrible in their win. The Jaguars look better, but they beat up on the Panthers, who are horrific, at least after 1 week. Bengals are 3.5-point favorites. Another pros-Joes game. Pros are in on the Jaguars. A lot of the money pool in on Jacksonville as of today, 77% there. What are you going to do here with the Bengals and the Jags?
Dude, the Bengals are going to smoke them.
Yeah, I picked them, and they're in my super picks as well.
Yeah, for sure. In fact, I think I marked them as my best bet this week.
Were they? I was considering them. Yes, I have some other ones, but I was considering them as a best bet.
I put them as my best bet. They played a very good, like, regardless of what anybody says or feels about the Cleveland Browns, their defense is very good.
Yeah, Cleveland's defense is nuts. They're awesome. All right, so we're both in on the Bengals. Steelers hosting the Jaguars. Steelers favored by 3. Sharps, no lean. Everything else in on the Steelers. Pretty heavy. 75% of the tickets, 77% of the money pool. I took the Steelers.
I did too. What list are you working off of?
I'm working off of the FanDuel list that I pulled last night, but they changed the order of it this morning
Oh,
because we agreed to go
okay.
FanDuel. They changed the order. So
Yeah,
every
because I
year,
went FanDuel and none of
I
these are
know.
in order.
I know. I'm sorry. For those of you at home, we use FanDuel for the spreads, and we usually go top to bottom in order so that we can both follow along. But because we did this today, sometimes we do it Thursday or Friday. I pulled it, and they switched the order of everything today. So that's why it's a little off and caught Chris off guard. But yes, so we're both in on the Steelers there. Next game is going to be in Baltimore. This game is the Ravens-Browns. Ravens favored by 11.5. The money is going to be on their own. 84% coming in on the Ravens, but everything else, sharps and tickets in on the Browns. I'm taking the Browns only because of the 11.5. I love Cleveland. I love the Ravens in this spot. They win. I don't know. 11.5 is still just a lot of points for a defense. It's pretty good. I don't know. Maybe Flacco can keep them afloat a little bit against that defense.
Yeah, 11.5 is absurd.
It's a lot of points, right?
Yeah.
Maybe bring it
You
down
could
to
even
9.5 and take over.
you could even jack it. You could jack it either way and still go for it. I mean you could get less points and bet it straight, and you could go up over 14 and throw it into a couple other teams for an alt parlay. You could go either way with that.
Right. So next one, Rams on the road. We got a road dog. We got a home dog here. Titans are underdogs by 5.5 against LA. Rams obviously 1-0. Titans 0-1. I rewatched the Titans Broncos game. Titans didn't play well, and neither did the Broncos. The Titans were in that game because Bo Nix looked horrific.
Bo Nix looked really bad.
He looked really bad. And it was one of my I kind of wanted Bo Nix for the Giants just because if he got to be late second round maybe or late first round, I was like, you want a quarterback when you don't have one. And it was like worth to kick the tires on him. And now after watching this here, I'm like, that was probably a stupid take because Bo Nix really did not look. He didn't look good in the couple of preseason games that he played. And he had those moments of, idiocy last year, but he did not look good last week. But Broncos come later. Rams here, Joes. Pros in on the Rams. Joes in on the Titans. 5.5 is a lot of points, but the Titans, if it was not for Bo Nix, get destroyed in that game. So I'm going to take the Rams here.
I took the Rams too. Their defense is pretty damn good too.
Yes. Yeah. And I'll be interested to see what happens here against the Titans when the Rams offense doesn't decide to just throw up stupid interceptions and make ridiculous fucking plays. So let's go to the NFC North again. There's a bunch of inter-division rivalries that have taken place both last week and this week, right? So this one is going to be the Lions hosting the Bears. The Bears coming off the Monday night loss after they blew it to McCarthy. The Lions coming off their loss to Green Bay. Here, Detroit's favored by 5.5 at home. Joes in on the Lions. Joes in on the Bears. I haven't been getting any of the over-unders, but this one is 47.5. I don't know. Give me the Lions here.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think the Lions are going to kind of smash them, man. The Bears looked horrific after that first quarter last week.
Yeah, for sure. We're both having the Lions are going to have a comeback here against the Bears. It'll be interesting to see. The Bears, Johnson, he knows that team, but they've obviously changed a little bit because he's not there now. But I don't know. The loss at home was deflating last week, and the Lions kind of need this. So both in on the Lions. Let's head to East Rutherford. Bills taking on the Jets. AFC East rivalry. Oh, I don't know if it's a rivalry. Did the Jets have a rivalry with anybody? Maybe Miami. These are both shitty and lose all the time. The money is in on the Bills. The Sharps and the tickets are in on the Jets, 6.5. Who are you going to take?
Jets.
Yep, I took the Jets too. I thought the line was a little big. Cowboys hosting the Giants in an NFC East battle. Cowboys right now are not a trifecta because the tickets are now split between both Dallas and the Giants right down the middle at 50-50. But
That's
Sharps,
crazy.
Yeah, the Sharps and I think it's be the 5.5 point spread. But the Sharps and the money pool are both are in on the Cowboys, and the money pool quite a bit at 75%. So I love the Giants and no faith in the team, and the 5.5 doesn't scare me away. Give me the Cowboys.
Yeah, I don't know why 5.5 would scare anybody away.
Yeah, I mean, because it's a big spread for an intergame rivalry. It's kind of the same. I thought, well, the Eagles-Cowboys one was even bigger, but 5.5 in week 2 is a lot. But I saw nothing on Sunday that makes me think the Giants are going to be able to go toe-to-toe with the Cowboys here. I just didn't see it. So,
who did Dallas lose to last week?
Dude, it was It was the opening game of the season. The Eagles.
Oh yeah, the Eagles.
Which I don't know if you caught the game, but I didn't even realize it when I was doing it. But I wrote the Eagles-Cowboys game down wrong and said it was in Dallas, and I didn't even catch it the day of as I was recording the show. Just said the game was in Dallas.
I actually thought Dallas looked pretty good in the beginning of that game. I mean,
They
Philly
did,
had to come.
The storm changed everything, right? The storm was it.
The storm changed everything.
Yeah, it destroyed those overs, right? Warren Sharp had that stat that it was like maybe 5 games of the past X amount didn't hit the over when they had that many points in the first half.
Yeah.
So 4 o'clock. Oh, before we hit the 4 o'clock games, 49ers at the Saints. 49ers 4.5 point favorites here. Trifecta game. Everybody else in on the Saints. I ended up taking the Saints too. Too many questions with the 49ers. They still might be able to pull it off, and I feel like this is a really square bet. I hate going with trifectas too because, like, they were 0-5 last week. They just tend to always go against you. But I'm going to take them here.
I took San Francisco. I'm not going to pick New Orleans at all this year. They're really bad.
Yeah, I know. I feel like an asshole doing it, but I don't know, 4.5. There's just questions in the Purdy thing.
Dude, it's still Mac Jones.
Yeah, I guess. Think about what you just said. It's still Mac Jones. What?
I mean, he's better. He's better.
Yeah,
than
you're right. It is still Mac Jones.
Carson Wentz.
Yeah.
Look at what Sam Darnold did in that offense when he was a quarterback there.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not betting it. I had to make a pick, so I went with the Saints. 4 o'clock games. There's only 3. We go back to this, like, here's 3 games at 4 o'clock instead of splitting up the top ticket into a better distribution of games at 4 o'clock, whatever. And so one of them is just who the fuck cares game. Broncos on the road in Indianapolis facing Daniel Jones and the Colts. Sharps in on the Colts. The tickets and a lot of money are in on the Broncos. Granted, at 4 o'clock Sunday game, so that could change. But, I don't know. I don't know what to do with this game because the Broncos were terrible outside of the fact that, the Broncos played well outside of Bo Nix, who played terrible. And then you have the Colts where Daniel Jones went nuts, right?
Yes.
I want to go with the Colts. I want to go with the Broncos, right? They're the better team.
Broncos for sure.
I just
not even a
scared
question. You're gonna put Daniel Jones doesn't stand a chance against a good defense.
Well, the way I'm thinking about this game, I'm just saying, look, if Bo Nix has 25% better game, go up and turn the lights on. The video
stupid
on our production
motion
here
sensors.
is really going to have to improve.
Stupid motion sensors.
At least it gives for a good chuckle. If Bo Nix isn't, half the bumbling idiot that he was last week, I think they win versus the Colts. I mean, the defense played really well. They were all but Benito, who just got the contract extension, he's awesome. He's awesome. He deserves that contract extension. Good IDPer. If you're out there looking for somebody for your IDP team.
Yeah, he's good.
We're both taking the Broncos there. The next 3 o'clock game is the Cardinals-Panthers. This in Arizona. Pros Joes. Pros in on the Cardinals. Who do you got with Arizona Panthers?
Arizona, 100%.
Arizona, you're taking them. 6.5 is a lot of points. I think I'm going to take the Panthers, and I'm going to hate myself for taking him.
Yeah, that's silly. That's silly. The Panthers are really bad, dude.
Yeah, I know. It's the Cardinals. It's just I can't give 6.5 points to the Cardinals. I just can't do it. But whatever. Brings us to the Sunday night football game, where we will see the Vikings coming off that fourth quarter turnaround, take on the Falcons, who end up blowing it at home last week. The Vikings have the tickets and the money on their side, a lot of tickets. And then the Sharps are going to be in on the Falcons. So not quite a Pros Joe's game, but could get there. The McCarthy, hey, he pulled it off in the end. Does that warrant a 4.5 point spread at home? A lot of points.
It's a lot of points. I like it much more at 2.5.
Yeah, so do I. Turn off music. I like it much more at 2.5, but it's not. It's 4.5.
I still took Minnesota, but in my bets, I lowered it.
I took Minnesota too. I know there's something about the Falcons. They have some question marks here with the wide receiver room. If McCarthy plays like he did in the first quarter, maybe he needed 3 quarters to warm up. And if he plays like that at home with the defense, and they document, if you went online, I think it was Ben Solak had shown some of the things that Flores did with the defense and mixing up coverages and stuff. Flores is a great coordinator, and he might be a good coach and probably deserves a second chance, right? Albeit everything that happened in that disaster a couple of years ago, but you can see that
he crushed it at Miami.
Well, I mean, look, it's Miami, you dealt shit deck, and what do you do with it? But anyway, Flores I think he'll be able to reel in the Falcons here. 4.5 question marks. It's a big spread, but regardless, whatever. Next game, and these are the final 2 games of the weekend, and they are both Monday Night Football. You got another one of these doubleheaders, which they're doing away with as time goes on here. And the first game is going to be Texans hosting the Buccaneers. Texans favored by 2.5. The tickets and the money are in on the Bucks. So, what do you end up doing with Houston?
I took Houston.
Did you? I don't know.
Don't even ask me why. I looked at this game as I watched Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay sucked. I did not like what Tampa Bay did. I had zero interest in that team the way they performed last week. And Houston was just as bad, if not worse. Yet Vegas, for some reason, knows something I don't know and made them a 2.5 point favorite. And I was like, okay, I'm just gonna take Houston.
I think Bucks on the road, Texans good defense, Wirfs isn't there. I don't know. I took the Bucks. I don't know. This is kind of I didn't do anything with the game. I picked the Buccaneers though, because I don't have really faith in these Texans yet. That offensive line is terrible, but the defense is good. So maybe the defense creates problems here for Baker on week 1. But the final game of the week is your team, the Raiders, with their home opener for 2025, taking on the Chargers. The Chargers are a 3-point favorite here. No sharp action. The tickets in on the Raiders. The money pool is basically split at 51%, a 1% lean here on Los Angeles. 56.5 points is the over-under. Again, I haven't been giving out those. I should every game, but I didn't here. So they're expecting some points.
Big over.
Oh, wow, really?
Oh, that game's probably gonna be 50-30.
Wow, so you're not expecting much in terms of defense, right?
No.
Jesus, that must have been the most obvious fucking comment ever. Way to go, Rich. Really capitalizing on
49-24. That's what that game's going to be.
In favor of who?
The Chargers.
Yeah, I took the Chargers too. I took the Chargers too.
But
when I was listening to the favorites, actually the favorites is not the favorites anymore. I think the favorites is now called Sharp or Square. It's definitely called Sharp or Square, although now they made a new favorite show. They were talking about, and I think their lean was actually toward the Raiders. They gave your Raiders a little bit more credit with the home opener. They performed well in week 1. 3, tough number, but I mean, I just like the look of the Chargers in week 1. And I don't know why I would not favor them, or 3 points would make me think that. I mean, granted, the Raiders are at home, I guess, but Los Angeles is a hop, skip, and a jump from Vegas, so it's not really a home game.
Yeah, it's close enough, man. There's going to be tons of Chargers fans there.
Oh, yeah, for sure. For sure. Monday night game, yeah, who knows? Everybody's going to go to Vegas and pay $32 for a slice of pizza and $15 for a can of Coke and all the rest of it. Have you seen the stories coming out of Vegas the past
the
6
Raiders,
months to a year?
Yeah, the Raiders fucked up by going to Vegas because
not originally.
Not originally, but now it's a total fuck up. Nobody's there. Nobody wants to be there.
Well, who wants to pay $30 for a slice of pizza?
Yeah, I know. Nobody wants. Dude, it's absurd. It's fucking absurd.
It's really crazy. It really is. So those are all the picks. Let's get into it with our bets and our super contest and all the rest of it. And then we will punch out and go home.
Fourth down.
So you have the monetary lead here. We start off the week. Your bankroll is at $89.50 off of $10,000. Mine is at $82.56. So I will let you start. Best bet, your survivor, even though you lost last week. Last week was no good for Chris. He went with Kansas City, and it was a big loss. Why'd you go with Kansas City?
I fucked up when I sent my messages out, and Kansas City was my survivor pick, first week pick from last year.
Oh.
And so I used my template and forgot to replace it with another team and just left it.
Legit?
Obviously.
Who were you going to give otherwise? Or you didn't bother because
I
couldn't figure out the Kansas City pick. That was so weird when I read it.
Yeah, when I go through my things, I usually go 1 to 4, like the way I read down, and so my brain must have thought, oh, I already picked somebody on to the next part of our.
All right, so let's do it this way. Was there a team that you knew outright you were looking at?
Yeah, my best bet.
Oh, your best bet was Arizona?
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll do Arizona for your survivor, and we'll give you a mulligan. I mean, even though all intents and purposes, it doesn't work for the function of the show. But that's stupid that I didn't understand why you did Kansas City. So it was Arizona last week. So pick a survivor for this week.
Baltimore.
Yes, Baltimore has been a popular name thrown around. And your best bet, sir?
Oh, Cincy. I told you that.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. It was a very long time ago, at least in the term. Again, we try to keep these things under an hour, and we're pushing it here. But Cincinnati and the 3.5, we'll look to sharpen things up and shorten it up as time goes along and as we get out of our preseason. Super contest picks, fire away.
Green Bay, Detroit, Dallas, Arizona, Chargers.
Funny enough, I've got at least 2 of those, and I'm going to end up having 3. Yes, I like those teams as well. My survivor last week was Pittsburgh. I was able to get away by the hair on my chinny chin chin. So I don't know what I'm going to do with survivor this week. I've looked at it. There was a couple of teams to pick from. I liked Baltimore. I liked Dallas. I kind of like Miami because when else am I going to be able to use them? And I liked Arizona. Dallas has got Carolinas and Jets at home later. Miami has home versus New Orleans later. Arizona has Tennessee and Jacksonville later. So considering all of it, I don't want to use Baltimore. I think Baltimore, I can use them when I'm in desperate need just because they're a great team during the year. So give me Arizona. I'm going to go with Arizona at home here. I'm going to throw away Texas and Tennessee and Jacksonville, and I'll just use them here. So give me at home versus Arizona. My best bet, I was torn between Dallas and Pittsburgh. Dallas minus 5.5, Pittsburgh minus 2.5. Sometimes it's 3. It's been going up and down all day long. I've been following it. And I don't know. I think I'm going to end up going Dallas. I think in the end, I'm going to end up going Dallas in the 5.5. Although, man, 5.5 as a best bet in an NFC East game, it still makes me feel queasy. Do I go Pittsburgh? That's how torn I am between these two. Which one am I going to give?
All right, well, just pick your best bet, buddy.
Fucking asshole.
It's supposed to be your best bet.
I know. Well, I really like both these teams. All right, I'm going to shy away from Dallas. I'm going to go with Pittsburgh and the 2.5. I'm going to go with Pittsburgh and the 2.5. At home. If it's 3, it's 3 right now. Whatever it is, one of those two. Super contest. Give me Green Bay like you. Give me Dallas in the 5.5. Give me Pittsburgh in the 3. Give me Cincinnati in the 3.5, which is your best bet. Chris does not put his best bet in his super contest picks. Go figure. And then my 5th pick, the Rams, the Chargers, Detroit, Philly, Kansas City, whichever one you want to take it. That was Miami. I'm going to end up going here with the Chargers in the 3. So now it comes down to big money as we talk about our bets. You're in the lead. Go ahead. Fire away.
Sure. So straight bet, I'm going to do 150 on Cincinnati.
Yep.
I'm going to do a obnoxious money line parlay, 2-team, 100 to win 450. I'm going to take the Jets to beat Buffalo at home and Minnesota to win
at home.
By a half a point. My alt spread parlays, I did 3 of them. First one is 150 to win 750.
Okay.
And that's going to be Green Bay plus 3.5.
Green Bay 3.5.
Yep, plus 3.5.
Yep.
That's going to be Dallas minus 2.5.
Dallas minus 2.5.
Cincinnati minus 2.5.
Cincy minus 2.5. Field goal.
Detroit minus 2.5.
Detroit field goal.
Yep. My next parlay is going to be 150 to win 475. And that's going to
475. Go.
That's going to be Denver plus 3.5.
Denver getting a field goal.
Kansas City plus 3.5.
Same thing with KC.
Arizona minus 2.5.
Arizona to win by a field goal.
Then last one is going to be 100 to win 675.
Okay.
And that's going to be Minnesota to win by minus 2.5.
Field goal.
Houston money line.
Okay.
And the Chargers I brought up to minus 6.5 over the Raiders.
Chargers blowout.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's it.
Yeah, of those, looking at it, Denver plus 3.5, Kansas City plus 3.5, Arizona minus 2.5. I like that. Green Bay plus 3.5, Dallas minus 2.5, Cincinnati minus 2.5, and then Detroit minus 2.5. I kind of really like that, 150 for 750. So the Green Bay could lose by a field goal. Dallas, Cincy, and Detroit all have to win by a field goal.
Yep.
And that's 150 for 750. That's pretty solid right there. Okay, got those down. Here is what I ended up doing, even though stay away from my bets because I was ice cold last week. I will go with Green Bay and the Chargers. Bring them both down to 2.5. Give me 50 for 140 there. And then I've got 4 things all hitched to my 2 best bets, Pittsburgh and Dallas. So Pittsburgh minus 3 or 2.5. Give me the 20, whatever the current odds are. Give me the 25 to pull back 50. Dallas minus 5.5. give me 25 for 57 to come back. Then parlay those two, put 50 for 187 in return there. And then give me Cincinnati minus 2.5, Pittsburgh minus 2.5, Dallas minus 2.5, and give me 50 for 220 there. The odds on that alt line parlay were 339. And then I got two more for you. I got Green Bay minus 2.5 and Cincinnati minus 2.5. So I did the Chargers before. I'm going to do Cincinnati along with them, 50 for 138. And then I also did a dog money line parlay, Indianapolis and Kansas City, both to win, 50 for 200. And those are all of my bets for the week. So, without further ado, with further ado, you start things. We're ending things. So this is just a car crash. I think first time with both of us.
Without further ado, it's over.
Yeah, it's over. So we will call it a wrap. So remember, listen to the show, follow, like, share, all that good stuff. And follow us on X, Twitter, I don't know, Vamp. Insert the shit there. Hopefully you got something out of the show that you might be able to use. And then, Chris, I will follow up with you, and then we'll obviously be back for next week. Maybe I can fit a show in for a recap after this, but you never know. I say that, and then all of a sudden, we're back here. Let's bet again. So, adios, Chris. I'll talk to you later. Everybody else, thank you for listening.
Adios.